Now at 6 on WTO 11, after more than a decade of issues, a local hospital is suspending its services.
The few options it has now to consider after its request of a Chapter 9 bankruptcy reorganization is denied. August 2nd, 2014, a date we all know too well here in Toledo.
Yes, this morning we are taking a look at what's being done now, nearly 10 years since the water crisis.
You might be traveling this weekend for Memorial Day. Coming up, I give you safety tips to keep you safe when traveling on the roads.
And we start your 11 minutes of nonstop news here on this Thursday morning with a look at your forecast.
Yes, we need to get over to meteorologist Ryan Weekman to give us all the details on weather. Ryan, it better be good.
It is going to be good for us, Tatiana. It's going to be a beautiful day. Sunny skies. Expecting this one to be the pick day of the week. We're talking temperatures into the low 80s, bright sunny skies. And look at radar here. Not a drop of rain in sight. Temperatures much more refreshing this morning compared to the big time heat that we've been building the last couple of days. If you remember yesterday, we were in the 70s to start off. Now we're in the mid 50s here in Toledo. 58 in Fremont and Oak Harbor. 63 still in Monroe. 54 out in Defiance. Our bus stop forecast as we get close to the end of the year says this could be one of the nicest school days of the year weather-wise. Again, very nice low 80s expected for today. Let's get it over to Stephen here at 6:01 with his latest look at our traffic tracker.
Let's get a look this morning at our roadways this morning. So our Big Four major highway conditions have those pulled up for you. And as you can tell, things are looking great out the door this morning. We are crash free as we get a look around town. So if you are looking to get out the door, getting to work, you're on time this morning. That's a look at your Contrada Law Firm traffic tracker.
A man convicted in a Frenchtown Township murder is expected to be sentenced today. Stephen Bales was found guilty of first-degree homicide and conspiracy to commit homicide. He is the fourth person to be convicted in the death of 23-year-old Kayla Sadowski. Her body was found in an abandoned detention center last year. Bales faces up to life in prison. A former Toledo police officer must register as a sex offender after allegations of rape. According to the Wood County prosecutor, Raul Jaso was sentenced to 5 years of community control sanctions. 2 of those sanctions are 180 days in jail and 180 days of house arrest.
Carroll Township EMS and Fire Department is mourning the loss of its fire chief, John Burrow. In a Facebook post, the department says Burrow passed away on Sunday and how he was among the first citizens to become trained as both an EMT and firefighter within the township. Burrow served with the department for 45 years and was the chief for over a decade. He was only 68 years old. Of course, millions are set to hit the roads this Memorial Day weekend, and some of you may even be heading out in just a few hours.
Yeah, this could be a busy travel day itself. Mario Dunham is live in Wood County this morning. So, Mario, you talked to leaders at AAA and Safe Communities for Wood County. What do they say people should be doing ahead of their trip?
Well, Tim, I'm told that leaving early in preparation are keys to success when traveling by car for Memorial Day weekend. One thing you should do before you leave is get your car serviced. AAA tells me this could be the difference between getting to your destination safe or needing assistance on the roads. You should also make sure your gas tank is full before hitting the road. AAA says you can expect to see gas prices similar to last Memorial Day weekend, with the national average sitting at roughly $3.57. Over 92,000 people are expected to travel from Lucas, Fulton, Ottawa, and Wood counties, according to AAA. Here in Ohio, this year marks the second highest number of people expected to travel by car, with 1.5 million people set to drive to their destination. Sandy Weekman with Safe Communities Wood County shares her most important tips for safety when driving this weekend.
What you need to do is just make sure the only thing you need to do when you're in your vehicle is concentrate on your drive. 100% of your attention needs to be on your drive. You need to not drive distracted. Stay within the speed limits. A lot of times people like to speed because they want to get to where they're going.
AAA says that the worst time to travel today is between 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. The best times to travel are before 11 a.m. today and after 7 p.m. today. Live in Wood County, Mario Dunham, WTOL 11.
Well, AAA estimates more than 1.3 million Michigan residents are also expected to travel at least 50 miles from home this holiday weekend. That's a 4% increase from last year. So to help ease congestion and increase safety, MDOT suspending road work and lifting traffic restrictions from 3 p.m. tomorrow until 6 a.m. Tuesday. 85 out of 154 projects statewide will have lane restrictions removed. The Findlay Police Department's working to help you and your family stay safe while you or your kids are out riding a bicycle. Their 9th annual Bikes, Books, and Badges Bicycle Rodeo is just around the corner. And coming up this morning at 6:30, our Maya May has more on this free family-friendly event that promotes more than just bicycle safety.
Now, as you get up and around this Thursday morning, we are counting down the 3 things you need to know. Three, we start with 3 and go down. The city of Toledo is celebrating the completion of the first phase of the Schneider Park revitalization project at 10:30 this morning. The park has been under construction for 18 months. Improvements include new soccer fields and a loop walking trail. Number 2. Fallen Fodder is permanently closed. The downtown Toledo restaurant made the announcement on its social media yesterday. And number 1, the services at Community Memorial Hospital in Hicksville are temporarily suspended. CEO Bill Cherry says this comes years after trying to recover after the hospital got into a fraudulent laboratory agreement. The pursuit of a Chapter 9 bankruptcy reorganization was denied, leaving them with very few options and a community having to adjust to the change.
We're working with our local EMS staff to help prepare them for not having a local facility where they can take patients to in an ER situation or emergency situation.
Patients will be routed to other hospitals, including Parkview Bryan Hospital and Parkview Regional Medical Center. Of course, as the heat turned up this last week, more eyes are turning to Lake Erie for the summer as the annual algal bloom begins to form.
Yeah, the watch on that is about to begin. Meteorologist Ryan Weekman joins us now to talk more about it. So Ryan, you were here 10 years ago as well when that Toledo water crisis erupted on that Saturday morning. And here we are still tracking the health of Lake Erie. What should we expect this year?
Well, we know the ingredients that go into it, Tim, would include lots of rain in the spring and warm conditions. And that's exactly what we've got to potentially make a large bloom this year, similar to some of our larger blooms of the last 10 years. Take a look at what I found.
At this point, we've already exceeded the amount of phosphorus going into, the Maumee and out into Lake Erie. We've exceeded 2023 already.
With over 1.5 feet of rain this spring, there's no reason to not expect a large algal bloom at some point this summer on Lake Erie.
Once the samples are ready, all of the good stuff happens here. This is where we analyze for the dissolved phosphorus.
Laura Johnson is one of the leading experts on watersheds and runoff into the waterways and is the director for the National Water Quality Research Center at Heidelberg. Their lab analyzes samples from across the Maumee River watershed and local wetlands. Their water tests directly influence the harmful algal bloom outlook and which practices are working on local farm fields. Even though this has been a historically wet spring, believe it or not, it's not been a worst case scenario for nutrient runoff.
It has been a very wet spring. We had a lot of storm events, especially in April. I don't know if it's lucky or not, but we had a pretty warm winter, so March ended up being a bit drier. So all of that rain we got in April didn't lead to as much runoff as we could have received.
The hardest part to making adjustments and seeing if a practice is working to reduce sediment runoff is the time it takes. And with different weather each spring, it'll take years before true measurable differences can be detected.
I think we're about a couple of crop years in for some of these ag practices. I just looked at the numbers. They're up to about 32% of the watershed has voluntary nutrient management plans through H2 Ohio. So my job right now is to see how effective these practices are being.
And so many scientists there doing an incredible job keeping us updated on everything here. The official latest outlook will come out later today. Meteorologist John Birchfield will have that at 5:30 tonight, so you can check that out. I'll have another wrap up tomorrow morning so you can see it each and every week when it comes out. Now, additional data is showing probably a moderate sized bloom this year following all that spring rain that we've had. And this is just the start of our summer commitment to you. If you remember 10 years ago, I was on air when that Toledo water crisis was happening. We said we were going to follow up on the health of Lake Erie, and here we are a decade later. That means from a science perspective, we're going to present multiple things to you this summer, including the very latest on our algae bloom forecast each and every week. Also, the latest on the high-resolution satellite images so we can highlight where the thickest of the bloom is found in western Lake Erie. Now, we know that bloom is driven by nutrient runoff mainly into the Maumee River, so we will watch as this ticks up and how it compares to previous years, and real-time conditions like buoys out on the lake, one of the most sophisticated real-time network systems on any body of water in the world, is right here in western Lake Erie. So we will be sure to monitor any changes in the water that happen throughout the summer. I'll be back in just a few minutes. We're going to talk your full forecast coming up.
Will be a busy summer, Ryan. Thanks so much. Well, everyone who was here in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan during that 2014 water crisis has a story to tell.
Of course, and we all remember where we were when we heard about the problem and what we did the following week to make it through.
I remember no water being available. I remember that actually my spouse and I ended up going to Port Clinton to get water because there was no water available here. And my nephew worked at a store in Port Clinton and had it available there. So we drove to Port Clinton to get water.
Now, our team here at WTO 11 is committed to protecting our water.
And we want to hear from you. Send us a video of you sharing your memories during the water crisis 10 years ago. What impact did it have on you? You can text it now to us at 419-248-1100.
Make sure to include the word water you see right there on your screen in green to get a link directly to our coverage online now. We will be right back.